Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin' Review. So today or tonight or whenever you're watching this, I have got The Boys in the backdrop because finally it's over. We can all rest and feel at peace with the fact that this series is at its end. Because if you don't know already, I have talked about the show and I did give it a chance, right? I did enjoy season 1, did enjoy season 2. I don't think season 2 and 3 were perfect. Not as good as season 1, but at least there was something to get behind with those seasons, because there was something about them. They're trying to introduce characters and you felt like that you could get yourself invested in those characters because the show was so fresh off the press and so different. Like how it was just it was first, because when a show first comes out it feels so refreshing, it feels like the first time you've ever watched it, so it had a bit to it where you're like, yeah, I can get behind that, I can enjoy it. And then season 4 kind of rolls around and you're just like, you kind of just I feel like that the show itself forgets everything that made the other prior seasons the reason why I watched it, because it does a lot of things where you do get the characters, you do get the political satire and all of that, but it just drags on for a while and it's meandering around things and it slows down for things, and it literally spends 40 minutes mentioning a character where a different character when you could be focusing on other things, and it was trying to set up things for season 5, so a lot of it felt like a little bit of setup and a lot of build up instead of a concrete conclusive story. But it just felt really like, well, why is this so slow, why is this all like this? So there is all of that. So definitely, I'll link my review down below. Like, I just had a really mixed reception with the series. Like, I did enjoy the first few seasons and didn't really like season 4, so there was all of that. So where are we going to begin with this review with The Boys season 5? Well, I'll tell you my things that I personally didn't like about it, and then I'll say what I didn't like about it, and then I'll get into spoilers because the show's now over and you've had plenty of time to watch it. I'm just going to dive into spoilers because I think I need to air my thoughts on this one. So let's go for what I didn't like first, because that's usually, there's a lot more to be said about that. So pretty much what this does is a lot of similar things to season 4, where it just kind of leads you on a bit, where it just you just slowly see the story progressing, and you're just like, come on man, like, I'm watching this show, it's taking so long, it's so slow, and it just keeps doing that. It just keeps teasing you. It's like, oh, something's gonna happen, and then it just keeps on going. It keeps piling on the absolute filler arcs where you just get moments with these characters and we're trying to get Homelander and Billy Butcher and all this, but then you still have to recount for all these other characters, and you're just like, there's so much going on, and you're just like, you just want this to end, you just want it to end, and that's really what it gets to. That's the point it gets to, and it really feels quite slow, and especially when they kill off A-Train, and then it slows down again to where it literally just reverts back to what you know about The Boys, where there's an episode where Soldier Boy and Firecracker are getting it on in the bed, and then there's just goriness, and then there's blood, and then there's goriness, and a lot of it feels really repetitive in the storyline, and you're just like, I want to see this actually pan out and go somewhere, and it just keeps going on for a little bit longer. It keeps piling on the agony of, it'll get there eventually, and that's really what it is. It piles on the agony of when you watch a show and you just wait so long for everything to conclude. And so there definitely is that part of it where I'm just like, damn it, like the plot is taking so long to finish itself off. And even to that point, what I'll say about the actor performances is that I can understand why Anthony Starr was never nominated for an Emmy for Homelander, because his character never really changes in the series. Like, other than how he's got this relationship with Jesus Christ in season 5, he just never develops as a character. He's the same character that he was, and he's the same adult inside a child's body and a child's mind, where he just doesn't want to grow up, and he wants to be this guy that wants to take everyone, he wants to take everything, he wants to be the best version of himself. And so there is that, and Billy Butcher and all the other characters, they just feel like they were the last time. So if you've already seen the first season or seen the first few seasons, you're not really missing much with this one either. And so I will say that about it, and a lot of the acting just feels a lot of the same way, where you're just like, yeah, that's how they win the last few seasons. And it's just a lot of slowness to the show, and if you do not like slow shows where you just you keep watching it and it's like, oh, I need to watch till next time, and it just keeps leading you on, and it's like, we'll get there eventually. You're not gonna like this one, and I have to be honest, that's how I felt. Like, I'm watching this, and it's taking hours to really get anywhere, and by the time you get to the final episode, there is something to be said about the final episode, but everything between that, you're just like, that's really all we have to offer. Is you kill off a character, you slow it down with just a lot of talking and a lot of planning and planning it out, and the characters are planning it out in the room and all of that, and then they end up going and doing everything. And so that's really what it felt like, was that it was a lot of slowness, a lot of character just stuff where you already know about these characters, why do we need to spend so much time with them? And Soldier Boy especially, he comes back into the fray because there's a certain way in which he needs to come back and stop Homelander, but even that's not enough to stop Homelander. And that's where it got me, where it's like, in season 3 Homelander and Soldier Boy fought each other, that didn't go anywhere. And then in season 5, Homelander and Soldier Boy try to fight each other and try to get to each other and try to get in each other's heads, and that doesn't even do much either. And so there is that, where it's just like it tries to use stuff from the previous season, try to bring back Soldier Boy, and then you try to introduce these characters like the Sister Sage and the Firecracker, but then you kill off like Firecracker, and the way that Firecracker dies in the show, you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever, because we already have a few things going on already. So, and by the time she passes away and she dies, you're just like, whatever, this is it, she's gonna die eventually, it's the end of the show, it's got to come to an end at some point, right? So there is all of that, that's how I felt, and I'm just kind of trying to air out my thoughts, because this is how I personally felt. If you disagree with me and you think this is a really good, well-rounded piece of television, then absolutely go ahead and plod away with your comments, because this is just how I felt. And so there is all of that. I did say it's a slow burn and there's just so much going on and everything, but the final episode is at least something to be said about. What I mean by that is there's something to be said where you can go back and you can think, yeah, I can go back and say, well, that had something for it, something going for it, because the final episode, it finally, spoiler alert, right, because this season has been out for a wee minute now, since May or something. I've just been taking my time to watch it, but what happens in this final episode is they finally kill Homelander, and there's a sense of closure and ending to it where I did enjoy that, and how they finally kill off Homelander, finally give Billy Butcher his ending, finally give all these characters their ending. And that's really what I liked about it. That is the fine margins of enjoyment of the series for me, was how the ending fight, the final episode finally kicks off all the carnage, and it finally ends everything. Whereas the other episode, it was just like there was 2 or 3 things going on in this one episode, and everything was taking so long to get going. So overall, I enjoyed the final episode, but everything else, I can just park off to the side, because yeah, that's just how I felt. I'm being honest here, that's how I felt when I was watching it. Like, if you thought it was going to get any better from season 4, then yeah, you're probably gonna be wondering to yourself, how better can this get? Well, apparently it can get worse, so that's really how it is. So overall, I'll give this show a 5 out of 10. 6 out of 10 because of the final episode, but 5 out of 10 overall. It's just a really passable, watchable season of television, where if you've already seen the first couple of seasons and you were also disappointed by season 4, there's not really a point in watching this, if you know what I mean. It's just that type of way where you're just like, whatever, seen enough of this. And there also is a plot line in here where I could see what they were trying to do with it, but it just feels a little bit too... It feels a little bit too generic in a way, where you've got Homelander presenting himself as a god and how he's in love with Jesus, and there's a whole scene about Jesus, and I know they're trying to do commentary on religion and commentary on social issues and social perspectives, but it just felt like with that religious plotline, with how Homelander's in love with Jesus, it just felt like, oh, the whole thing where it just felt so stereotypical. It was trying to be a stereotype on that particular belief system, where you just have him being like, I'm in love with God, God bless us all, God bless America, and that's pretty much all it is about that whole Jesus thing. And it's literally just a quick episode where it's him in a film and in with the Jesus, and Jesus has all the clothes on and all of that. So yeah, overall the show could have been the final season just could have been a lot better. But what can you expect when it's riding off of season 4? And it's also Eric Kripke that's forgotten to write really good stuff since about season 2 or 3 anyway. And so overall, that's how I felt about it. I'm just trying to get all my thoughts out here. And so I hope you enjoyed this review on the James Ramblin' Reviews. Goodbye.